Right, hey guys, what's up? So, heading to work. It's hot. It's summer in Japan, so I don't know. Yeah, and the beautiful sounds of cicadas in my city, Toyota, which is in Aichi. So, I wanted to talk to you guys about like teaching in Japan, and just how my experience with the kids so far. Things that you never really bargain for when you come here. Most people come to Japan maybe for a year to, let's say, 3 years, and think that teaching English is just like, some do it to pass the time, some do it as a way to experience the Asian culture, Japanese culture. People have various reasons for doing teaching in Japan, right? And they plan their lives accordingly, which is good, right? But there are certain joys that you will experience when teaching in Japan, or teaching kids that you might not have thought, you might not have thought of before coming here, And I want to share my experience in that regard. Now, a lot of kids that I teach, basically I work at an English conversation school, which is like a private after-school program, right? And so it's not anything compulsory for them. So you will get kids that don't want to be there because their parents want them to be there to study English, because English is fashionable and learning English is what is the in thing in Japan right now, and there's a high demand for English teachers. Now, especially with the Tokyo Olympics games that's coming up, therefore we have, they want everybody to have a certain level of English so that tourism and blah 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 blah. Now the children have had some really interesting experiences. As you've seen in previous videos, I'll link them as well. I've had some really bad experiences and things that I thought wouldn't happen in terms of interaction between a student and a teacher. Now, what's funny about a lot of these Japanese kids is that they have no filter. Actually, most kids don't have a filter, but they just say what comes to their mind. And a lot of times, I don't know if them know them rude or if them do it on purpose because them feel say becoming nice and laughing. I don't know if the kids know that because they're rude or whatever, but a lot of times I wonder if that's how I was as a child, When my teacher spoke, it took maybe 2 or 3 times for me to stop, right? But it takes them 10 times, and a lot of them are not motivated. So you as the teacher have to be able to motivate your children, right? And so sometimes it can be a real drag. But I really love teaching the good kids, right? Or even the ones that are so-so. But it's a spoiled brats we can't deal with. The little demon them will just come to terrorize you, and it's really not on. But as you know, your experience here teaching in Japan is going to be shaped by many things. Now, whether the company you come with, or the program, your supervisors, your co-workers, the cities you live in, ALT, Eikaiwa teacher, or whatever. However you come in, those things would invariably affect your experience as a teacher in Japan. Right? I've been here almost 2.5 years, and the thing is that when I went to the more rural parts of Japan to teach English, the kids are more willing to learn and are more eager, more motivated. I don't know if that's because the city kids have more access to things, and I don't know, or more comfortable, or just don't dream big because they already have everything. But that's my experience thus far. What has been your experience for those who teach English here in Japan? If you have taught in the rural area as opposed to the city, what are the differences you find with the students and their motivation? Please leave in the comments down below. All right. Also, no. I find that usually the younger kids are much more willing to listen, I guess. The ones that are in junior high school know that you can't really punish them or do anything to really reprimand them in the Eikaiwa situation, so they use that to their advantage. And no matter how you might think you approach it, it's never good to show any signs of visible frustration, you know what I mean? Because a lot of the douchebag students or the students that deliberately want to be the class clown or really want to get a reaction out of you. And a lot of times they try, students, especially when I first came to Japan, try to take advantage or test your boundaries, just like any other kid in any part of the world. They try to push your limits, test your boundaries. And especially if you have no Japanese knowledge, you will get swallowed up by these kids. So my advice to you before coming to Japan, learn some basic Japanese words and phrases. Learn the words that are bad, bullying type of words, you know, and nip it in the bud from the first couple of months, the first time you meet them. Establish yourself as a teacher in the class, you know. Yeah, and a couple times, well, for us, you know, you get, I'm not gonna lie, I've had times when I have been really upset and I let it show, especially for the older ones, you know, like junior high school students. And said, are you guys babies? What's going on? Behave properly, you know what I mean? But, you know, kids will be kids. And this whole entire, yeah. But one thing that I really never bargained for is making some real connections with families and kids, and the fact that students look forward to your lessons because, you know, Andre Sensei is this and that, and Andre Sensei that, you know what I mean? And it's really rewarding to know that the parents actually will brag about you to other parents that don't even go to the school, or brag to parents that are joining your school, joining one of your schools, you know? I mean, even though you might have persons that don't like your style, I don't want the kids to like me. I just want them to respect me. I just want them to listen, do their work, go home. If they don't like me, they must respect me. And so I really don't give a crap if I'm liked by the students. The parents, this is who I'm really concerned about. The parents are who I'm really concerned about, because they're the customers. They're the paying customers. Is me. So, in the company, hi. Pokemon? No, Pokemon じゃない。なんか、video 撮ってる。またね。Right, that's one of my friends. Works in a restaurant. Anyway, right, so basically, when you have parents saying that their children love you, and then the children reaffirming that, you know, it's really one of the greatest feelings in the world, you know, knowing that a kid that probably didn't look like they were interested in your lesson actually really go home to their mom and dad and say, oh, Andre is so funny, or Andre is so good. And then when the parents come and observe you in the lessons, they see how their child is happy and trying to speak English, you know. And so it's really something. I never really thought I'd be so invested in some of my students' English progress and even their lives, you know, and their families, you know. I mean, it's crazy. I have siblings that join because they're, so I have families that have siblings. I've had brothers and sisters who joined because they saw one of my lessons and said it was fun. Mm-hmm. Also, when kids decide to stop because they're either moving to high school or they're going to Juku, which is the after school studying cramming school, it really saddens me, you know. And each April, the new academic year. So in Japan, April is the start of the new academic year, and each time that comes around, I kind of feel nervous or sad because I know I'll lose a couple good students. It's never the bad ones that leave. The bad ones always stay, you know. And yeah, and you know what? It's really cool too when you see the parents outside of the classroom settings and they're boasting to people that don't even have kids. Andre is a good teacher, yo, and he does this and that, and he's very interesting and that sort of thing. And I'm like, thank you. And it really makes sense, guys, to invest in trying to learn some Japanese to even communicate with the parents. Although the company doesn't require that, it does go the extra mile, you know, to ensure that customer service is of top notch. If you can even say, hey, your kid did well today, or your kid got hit in the head today, in Japanese, those little things make a big difference. Because it shows that you care and you want to, you know, you show, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's basically what I want to talk to you guys about today. Just be prepared for a lot of intangibles if you come to teach in Japan. A lot of things that may break or make your experience great, you know? And so yeah, we have heard the horror stories about the guy. People that come here have been fooled by them companies and like hurt by we have heard the horror stories of guys that, or people, we have heard horror stories of people coming to Japan and having like bad experiences because the company was rather shady, or they got some really, their contract wasn't what they signed up for is not what they got. And so yeah, well, then that you guys have to do your research, speak to persons who have already been here and have worked in the companies before you, and get that knowledge and stuff so you won't have a repeat of that. And even within the same companies, you'll have differences because of different type of management styles and that sort of thing, isn't it? So there's no hard and fast thing. You just have to do your thing, experience it and sort it out. So see you in the next video.